Right, I thought I'd give you all a little tour around the workshop, so I'll head out to the main door here and then we'll turn around and have a look. Obviously as you come in you've got the clothes dryer in the corner, keep all the moisture out of the house, utility drawers and some plywood stack, router table with a movable trolley and various bits of turning wood sitting underneath it. Looking down towards the back, the drop saw has the dust shroud over it with dust collection just to try and keep the dust down a little bit. It's never always that effective, but at least it helps. You can see the utility trolley sitting underneath with about a third of a 20 litre drum of PVA left. I'm slowly working my way through it. And up on the wall, fan you need for a hot day like today. It's about 26°C at the moment. Moving into the corner, the clamp racks, book racks with plans, Australian Woodsmith magazines, lots of good ideas in there. The mechanical toolbox has spare large scale tools in it, primarily for engineering purposes and that sort of thing, but also larger hammers and various bits and pieces. On the wall we have just a small storage area for stains and small amounts of paint. Grinder and drill press, of course you've got to have those. Alongside that is the bench vise, the engineering bench vise with various drill bits on the wall, and then we have a multi-purpose container with all the random sorts of fittings that you have that you don't always have a home for. That's in there. The main storage part of this cabinet is for all the screws that we do use on a daily basis and other tools and various bits and bobs. The one you see that's upside down is to indicate it's empty, and I haven't been able to get any more screws, so we might repurpose that. Let me get out of the reflection. Obviously somewhere to store the drills underneath and various bits and pieces, Forstner bits and other random driver bits. Let's open the door a bit. On the wall we have sockets, spanners, screwdrivers, more spanners and bits and pieces, tap and die sets, all the sorts of stuff that you need from time to time for doing various projects. A couple of planes. I don't use hand planes much. I tend to use sanders and thicknesses more than anything else to trim down most of my work with. In the corner we've just got your random stock pile of timber held very nicely with a piece of totra. The bench with the compressor underneath it was one I built some time back. The bench vise is from a timber joiner in Raglan, and it's approximately 150 years old and comes from Germany. We'll just wind that out a little bit so you can see how it works. Just a good old-fashioned long screw and guide bar. It's a good vise though. You can achieve a lot of pressure with it. Obviously I've got some dog holes on the top as well, just to hold those odd pieces that I might be hand planing. Down the bottom of course we have the utility shelving with all the stuff that doesn't really have its own home. It lives under there, including a little water blaster, an overfull bin of course, everybody's got one of those. From the doorway we move around to the sandpaper and turning and polishing equipment on the wall. My own design for a mini lathe on its purpose-built bench. Somewhere for all the tools and that to sit, including my latest two additions, which are handmade carbide tips. Let's grab one of those, just bring it up to here a bit. There we go. The handles I made out of rosewood, and from the tip to the stem they're about 400 millimeters long. Quite nice, quite heavy. around to some more wood storage, and of course the Ryobi planer. Then we'll spin round into the middle. Looking up overhead, you can see the drop down for the dust collection at the saw. Now the saw is an Azito saw from Mitre 10, from Bunnings, and I've taken off the outrigger plates on it, so it's just the central unit, and then I've built it into a purpose-built saw bench with storage for various types of lumber alongside, in the manner of shorts and some of the more blocky wood that you have left over that you don't want to throw away. The fence is a purpose designed fence. Again, Bunnings came into play here. I've used the 50 by 50 angle with the 50 by 50 fence box section. They're both aluminium. They're all riveted, so the whole thing becomes like a bison wire fence. And if we have a little look here at the homemade fence, it's made out of melamine. It has a toe on the end to help snug it up square. It's self-squaring, and again it's just made from simple things. Some more of the 50 by 50 angle used in both places. It's just a screw fix, and I just use a standard furniture screw attached to a handle and through the threads. Dead simple, straightforward, easy to make, all made out of reclaimed bits of paper and whatnot I've had around the shop. When you pull it back and tighten it up like so, there's no movement in it at all. It's rock solid and it's accurate. I never have to worry about the fence being square. It's always self-squared. Coming around to the next project. Let's move back a bit so you got that in frame. And of course, one of the minor projects that I finished some time ago is the little Azito powered planer, complete with a little safety guard on it, so as you feed it through, it keeps your fingers out of mischief. And that's pretty much how the whole workshop's shaped up. The table is actually an old desk that I repurposed, put on wheels, and comes in very handy for assembly and as an outfeed table. And that's about it for the Kiwi Dust Mites on a budget workshop.